Hello, we're making a video. The other night I was in the garden. We're still at the big house. And I was lying down on the grass near Kenny's and Papa's grave. And it was completely dark outside and no moon, and I could see the Milky Way galaxy and the Pleiades galaxy. I could see all of that because here we have less light pollution. And I was out there with my winter clothes on and winter boots and winter jacket and big hood, and I was lying on the grass looking into the sky and admiring all these stars. Could see everything so crystal clear, looked amazing. It looked almost like the photos of professional people that take photos of the night sky when there is less light pollution, and also telescope photos where they can zoom further in. It almost looked like one of those photos, but of course way better than a photo. It's like being in space. That's what it looked like. It looked so incredibly amazing. And I really enjoyed looking at all these beautiful lights. And then I saw some airplanes, could have been. I saw some relatively slow moving crafts up there, could have been airplanes or satellites. And I saw one cluster of lights that looked almost like, that looked like a white light cluster that looked like a really large, could have been a spaceship. I don't know what it was very far in the distance. And I kept on looking at those amazing formations and thinking about Ashtar and the galactic community. And all of a sudden there is this really long formation. Long. I can't really tell whether it was a long formation or I just saw the side of a spaceship. What I saw was looking very much like this here, like the light chain. Like this light chain there. And now it's turned scene. That's exactly what it looked like. Like this, like light blue with light blue lights that looked just like that, but completely straight line, and every light spaced apart exactly geometrically in order. And it was flying like it was a spaceship. It didn't fly like it was just airplanes flying together or drones flying together. The blue god says 1111. This is not a coincidence. So the blue god says, yes, you're right. You're right. It was an ET spaceship. Okay, that's what it was. And I almost felt like I was getting a heart attack. Almost my heart started beating, and it felt like although I'm ready for them and I'm hoping to see them and everything, I know that when this kind of stuff happens, we're still shocked. And why are we shocked about this? That's another question that I wanted to ask. That's a psychological phenomenon. Why are we shocked about this? Why are we so shocked about ETs? What is that causes us to be shocked? I mean, myself included. I'm for them. I love them. I'm welcoming them with an open heart and open arms. But why did I have this reaction when this spaceship was flying real slow, coming from the ocean directly over our house? And it's very difficult for me to estimate the distance or the size. What it appeared to me was there is this string of lights, very, very long string, almost like the length of this light tape, completely straight and gradually going in one direction above the house. It was, I would say, just guessing on this, it was about 2 high-rise buildings high and 1 high-rise building long. And that's what it looked like. But it could have been a spaceship it could have been a really wide spaceship, and I only saw the side of it. So I don't know. It looked like a spaceship. That's what it looked like. And it was going relatively slow. Floating and no sound at all. In like right across our property and into the forest there, above the trees. And then over the tree lines, I was trying to see the lights through the trees. But then all of a sudden it was gone. I didn't see the lights anymore. So now this could have been maybe satellites, this could have been military exercises or drones. I don't know. Paul says those are new drones that the military uses, and they test those flying over across the ocean and stuff like that. So could have been, I don't know. I'm not gonna make a definite claim that this must have been an ET spaceship, but it felt like an ET spaceship, and I could only see the lights. I couldn't see anything else. I couldn't determine any kind of shape of the craft. I couldn't see like the side of so it could have been just these drones that are floating through the air in the same distance from each other. But I was really, really scared. I was really nervous when I saw that. So, because it felt like it was an ET spaceship. And the Blue God said 1111, so maybe it was. So, I don't know. But that was really an amazing experience. To see that was really amazing. and my heart was pounding, and the way it felt, it felt like it's happening now. That's what it felt like. And it felt so spectacular, but much, much more than spectacular. It felt like a shock. It felt like this is happening, this is for real, these are not just stories that I want to believe. This is true. These beings are real. They exist. And their spaceships are real. They're sentient technology. They're very advanced. The entire spaceship is sentient and alive. And then the military, they make these claims. I guess they may have seen this before, and they've seen others like the manta ray type of spaceships. They call them drones, but these are like Vimana type of spaceships. Not motherships, but smaller. Those are like reconnaissance ships. Vimanas, like V from looking out, mana like manually driven or something. But these are, that's how they called it in the past. But they're obviously not manually handled at all. Those are machines that are completely independently functioning from any other living being. These are robots, basically. Sentient robots, spaceships. And some things were seen by people, and then the military, if they see those in the videos that people capture them with, or they see them from an aircraft, from an airplane, right? They sometimes see stuff. Then the military is very quick to say that's one of their experimental new crafts that they're testing and so on, that they have created. And when it's in reality, it is actually from out of space. It's technology from out of space, from another civilization. But the military, they are under the orders of the corporate agenda, and the corporate agenda does not want people to think that this exists. They brainwashed us from day one of our lives in this regard. They have humiliated us. They have shamed us. They have mind controlled and brainwashed us into never talking about this, into never considering that to be true. Right? Paul is a perfect example for that. So I am thinking way outside of this, the norm of society thinking, and it's much harder to brainwash me because I'm an artist and I see a lot more than most people see naturally already, because this discrimination ribbon that we have in the brain, in my brain, it isn't functioning like with other people. So I don't filter as much stuff out as other people do. So I talked about this many times before. We filter things out in our brain. Stuff gets filtered out that does not pertain or belong to our 3D physical biological existence. So, and if it wasn't filtered out, then we would be would be constantly distracted by ghosts and different entities. Blue God says yes, 1122. It's the truth what I'm saying. We'd be constantly distracted, and we couldn't even navigate through life. We would be constantly on an LSD trip, seeing stuff and tripping up about different things and falling down and bumping against other people. No, we wouldn't function very well if we didn't filter this stuff out. So we have to filter this out and perceive the things that are more in the physical, much more physically condensed. Like the physical is energy accumulation to the point of condensed energy. Everything around me is condensed energy. Atoms and subatomic particles. It's all in the field of condensed energy. And then if you zoom further in, if you inflate that the image of the chemical structure, then you see that it goes further. If you inflate it so far that the particles become more and more inflated, then you see subatomic particles that are at some point, and I think that's what Donald Hoffman is talking about when you zoom in to such a degree that at some point it fizzles out of this sort of 3D realm, or the field of reality, as Jiddu Krishnamurti called it. It can be called different things. Newtonian physics. Manifestations in the physical realm. The materialistic realm. In Sanskrit it's called Maya. It's actually illusion. So, because everything is just energy it appears to be physical and it functions as that, but it really is composed of the ether of energy, just very condensed, compounded energy, more and more and more and more and more together, creating subatomic particles, creating atoms, creating electrons and protons and all these things, creating cells and creating amino acids and large molecules and all of it, creating the physical, right, that we experience as physical. So why am I so afraid when I already know all of this? I know it not just wishful thinking. I know that this is the truth. This is all about energy. And why am I so afraid when I suddenly see something that is outside of my personal or our personal human-centric viewpoint? And why has it been so mind controlled out of us, out of the human species? What's the point of this mind controlling someone into feeling shame of talking about the supernatural, the occult, or ETs? I think the only reason for that I can come up with is that if people explore into it and understand that existence is much more than just this 3D physical realm that we perceive as reality. If people knew that it goes much further than the people that are running things from the underground world would not have that much control over people. They wouldn't have that much power over them. So that's the only explanation I can come up with. From years and years and years of studying this and researching and thinking and talking to people about this. They want people to not believe that they have power, that they are really energy powerhouses, each person, each animal. And they want people to think that the world only consists of that what they have been told. They want to keep people tethered to the 3D, to the materialistic world in every respect. Okay, so that they want to keep people afraid of communism. They want to keep people afraid of the spiritual world. Spiritual, I don't usually don't use that word, but I mean it now. I mean it in the sense of beyond that what we perceive as physical. The energy world. The world of the ether. So I know all of this for sure. And yet when I see something out of the ordinary, or something that suddenly confirms what I know to be true, then I get really, really scared. Why is that? What's going on there with me? With my brain, why are we scared? Why are most people scared when they see something very unusual? There was a report from someone in that that guy, there's a guy on the internet, on YouTube. He makes videos about this. Preston is his name. And he told a story about a store somewhere in South America. Just like a regular family store that they had with food and other things. Small grocery store that they had somewhere. And all of a sudden, there were these beings that came into the store that looked totally different than humans. They were real short. And these these beings, probably, most likely ETs, they went over to the aisle where the cigarettes were in the cigarettes. I have OCD with that word even. And they took several packages of these cigarettes out of the shelf and they slammed them angrily in front of those people, in front of the store owners. And then they looked at them. There was a real stern facial expression. Slammed them down on the floor. They didn't speak English. They didn't know how to communicate, but they wanted to convey something. What do you think the message was? Well, the store owner didn't get the message at all. The store owner took out something, spray bottle or pepper spray or something, and attacked them, thinking he was defending himself and defending his store, and threw things at them. And then the ETs left. So, very strange occurrence. What was the message? Well, for me it's very crystal clear what the message was. They see humans, they probably studied them for a while, and they see that humans are doing things that are very counterproductive, like selling cigarettes to kids and adults, or smoking in general, this activity of smoking, of inhaling something into the lungs that damages the lungs. Counterproductive things that people do to their health, to their ecosystem, to the earth, to other animals. So they took these packages and slammed them down in front of their feet, and looked at them like with a categorical imperative, like an angry statement, like, look what you guys are doing, look what you humans are doing. You're selling stuff, you're promoting things, you're pushing things on children that's not good for them, and you're doing counterproductive things to your health. So that is the message. The message is, think about this and take this out, take them all out of that shelf and put something productive into it instead. Take them out of the shelf and throw it in the trash. That's what you're supposed to do. And never sell that again, and never use that again. Same with pesticides, or chemical fertilizers, or pharma drugs, or street drugs, or any of these toxic chemicals that are bad for people. When people hear, oh, this is bad for them, or alcohol is bad, nicotine is bad, caffeine is bad, and they continue it anyway because they got used to it, their system kind of got addicted to it, and they think they need it in order to feel normal or something. So that's not good. That's not good for their health at all. And the ETs, they see all of that, and they want to make people aware of it. They want to alert people to this. And then most people don't even get the message. But to me it's very clear what they were trying to do with it. They were trying to educate them on what they were doing is wrong. And that probably happened several times. And then there was another story where Preston was talking about ETs that came down into a woman's garden, and she was so shocked about that she passed out on her lawn. And they went into her house and inspected stuff. And when they came back out, one of them patted her on the head. Like we pet an animal on the head. And then they went back into their spaceship and they took off. And the lady was like in some kind of mental state. So she passed out, but She didn't pass out for long, so she saw most of the stuff what was going on, that they went into the house. They patted her on the head, but she was like paralyzed, was in a state of shock. I don't know if that would happen to me, if I would fall down or something. That can happen. Our knees get really weak if we are in too much of a shock. So I guess what happens is that the blood circulation goes all into the brain or something, and then our limbs give up. I don't know. But yeah, I was already lying down on the grass when I saw the spaceship. And I was so shocked. I couldn't say anything at first. And then I said, I love you all. I love you all. I love you all. Whoever you are, I love you all. And I said, I'm ready to meet ETs. I want to meet ETs. So it's not that I'm like demanding it or angry that they haven't shown themselves. And some people may be very impatient about this. But no, I'm not. And if they don't show themselves, I don't blame them. So why should I? I understand why they would not show themselves to humans. Why would they show themselves to a dangerous civilization? It's obviously quite dangerous for a completely different civilization to come here and encounter people. And I guess most people will probably not be violent or anything, but as soon as the military people find out, and then the military, they get their orders, and that usually happens. They get orders to be violent, to attack and stuff like this. It's very sad. And that's why they are afraid. That's why they would rather send a robot, or robot reconnaissance, or robots in general, or maybe sentient robots or something. Yeah, and the actual ETs, which look much more like us, many of them look a lot like us. They may be just taller, maybe 7 or 8 feet tall. And real beautiful. And they have bigger brains also, of course. But look very much like humans. The Pleiadians do. And the Arcturians, they have much bigger brain, even much bigger, and the face is smaller, and the brain is much larger. And I don't see why this should not exist. That makes a lot of sense, and there's a reason why so many people have drawn these. Made drawings of them. So I believe it. I believe that they are out there. I believe they are watching us. They are observing the human species in general. They want to see if the human species can figure it out and can finally grow and heal and come to their senses in regards to peace and in regards to their reactions to each other and to other species and to other entities and other beings. So they're waiting for the human species to become wiser and more peaceful before they would come here with their motherships and actually show themselves in the physical. Because that's a dangerous situation for them to come here with the US and world militaries that are very reactive and very much doing things because they're told. That makes it very dangerous, something, If everyone would question, if everyone would heal and question others, and question any kind of institution or authority institution or authority figures, if they would question things, then they would be much more autonomously thinking. They would evaluate things inside of their own heads and say, no, I don't see the point in meeting someone with a hostile mind state when that being is just standing there or just appeared somewhere, or when there are just 4 people standing in front of a spacecraft. Why should I be reactive? Why should I be hostile? Doesn't make sense. That's why it's so important to listen to what Gautama Buddha said. When you meet someone, be peaceful with them. Gautama Buddha meditated in a forest, in a jungle in South India. He wanted to sit there for a very long time in meditation, like Bomjan has done in India. Bomjan did that for half a year. He didn't eat, he didn't drink water, he didn't go to the bathroom. He just sat in meditation for half a year. That gathered a big crowd of people. People were in awe and they wanted to learn everything about this. And he slowed down his metabolism to like a gamma state or something. And the ETs, they have conquered a lot of those needs and physical needs, and the brain panicking or thinking, now I have to go to the bathroom. No, I better go to the bathroom because I need to pee or whatever, or otherwise I might get sick. And then all of these thoughts, while in meditation we can slow down that metabolism. They have conquered all of this. The Gautama Buddha conquered all of this. So he was able to sit for a long time, maybe for several years in meditation in a jungle, and different animals came up to him. Even boa constrictor snakes and snakes that are much larger than him, that could have easily swallowed him alive. And the reason why they did not eat him, why they didn't do anything to him, is because he sat there with a peaceful mind state, like a really peaceful mind state. Completely peaceful mind state. That's that mind state of samadhi. And he just sits there and he looks at them with love. At every being, just infinite love. Where there's infinite love, there's no fear. No fear at all. And that's how we should approach the ETs, and that's how they are. They are that advanced too. But naturally, they have to be a little bit cautious. They would come here and once they're here, they would meet us on that basis of samadhi. But they have to think about it 10 times before they come here in the first place, right? Because they know how humans are reactive, and humans are not in the samadhi state. So, so if it is up to us, if we want to meet the other beings that are already out there and already observing us, that are more advanced than we are, and we should just surrender to that fact. There are beings more advanced than we are. The whales too. A lot of people don't want to talk about it because it hurts their ego. Paul Watson met a humpback whale. Paul Watson talked about this. Paul Watson, was a very, very rational, very reason-based thinker. Very cautious in regards to religion or belief systems. He was out there in the ocean protecting the whales, and they encountered the Japanese whale hunters, and they saw that the Japanese whale hunters were getting ready to harpoon the whales. There was a family of humpback whales, father, mother, daughter, and son. And that was in the very early days, when he was still with the original people, the original founders of Greenpeace, which he was part of. And they went out there with a real small boat, and they put themselves in between the whale hunters and the whales. And they said the whales could have easily hurt them or pushed them over. The whales were very, very careful not to hurt them, because the whales knew exactly, they're very telepathic. They knew exactly why why Paul Watson was there, and the other, and just one or two other people on that boat. They knew exactly why they were there. They were there to protect them. And they did not push them over. They meandered around them. And, oh baby dog, why?